Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Easy English Boost. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to say what you want in English in a natural, polite, and confident way. Have you ever wanted to order food in a restaurant, buy a train ticket, talk about your dreams, or tell someone what you prefer? If so, this lesson is for you. Today, you will learn different ways to express your wants, wishes, hopes, and preferences. We'll learn useful expressions like want, hope, wish, desire, crave, and yearn. You'll also learn how to make polite requests using I'd like and would you like. Then we'll explore how to express preferences using prefer, and would rather. We'll also practice asking and answering preference questions and see many real-life conversations that you can use in everyday situations. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to express what you want politely, talk about your preferences confidently, and sound more natural in English conversations. So, are you ready? Before we learn each expression, let's look at the different ways English speakers express what they want. English offers many ways to talk about wants, wishes, desires, and preferences. Some expressions are casual and commonly used in everyday conversations. Some are more polite and suitable for formal situations. Others express strong emotions or deep feelings. Let's look at some common expressions: want, hope, wish, desire, crave, yearn, I'd like, prefer, would rather. Let's look at each one and learn how to use them correctly in real-life situations. Let's begin with the most common expression, want. We use want to talk about things we desire or would like to have or do. Structure: subject plus want plus noun or subject plus want to plus verb. Let's look at some examples. I want a new phone. I want some coffee. I want to learn English. Want is very common in everyday English and is easy to use. However, in formal situations or when asking for something politely, English speakers often use I'd like instead of I want. Now, let's look at hope. We use hope when we want something to happen in the future. It is used to talk about future wishes, expectations, and positive possibilities. Examples: I hope I pass the exam. I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. We often use hope when talking about our plans, dreams, goals, or things we want to happen in the future. Let's move on to the next expression. Now, let's learn how to use wish. We use wish for things that are different from reality. In other words, we use wish when we want something to be true, but it is not true now. Examples: I wish I had more free time. I wish I could travel the world. We often use wish to talk about dreams, regrets, or situations we would like to change. Unlike hope, which talks about possible future events, wish usually talks about situations that are not true in the present. Many English learners confuse hope and wish. Let's look at the difference. Hope. We use hope when something is possible and may happen in the future. Examples: I hope I get the job. I hope it rains tomorrow. In these examples, getting the job or having rain tomorrow is possible. Wish. We use wish when something is not true now, or when we want reality to be different. Examples: I wish I had the job. I wish it were summer. In these examples, the person does not have the job now, and it is not summer now. Remember, hope equals possible future situation. Wish equals different from reality. Understanding this difference will help you sound more natural and accurate in English. Now, let's learn the word desire. Desire means a strong wish or a strong want. It is more formal than the word want and is often used in professional, academic, or serious situations. Examples: she desires a successful career. The company desires better results. He has a strong desire to learn. We often use desire when talking about goals, ambitions, or something we strongly want to achieve. Let's move on to the next expression. Next, let's learn the word crave. Crave means to strongly want something. It is commonly used for food and drinks, especially when you really feel like eating or drinking something. Examples: I'm craving pizza. I'm craving chocolate. When you use crave, it shows a much stronger feeling than simply saying want. For example, I want pizza means pizza sounds good. I'm craving pizza means you really, really want it. So we use crave to express a strong desire, especially for food or drinks. Yearn means to deeply want something. It expresses a strong emotional desire, often for something that is far away, difficult to get, or very important to you. Examples: he yearns for adventure. She yearns to see her family. Yearn is a stronger and more emotional word than want. People often use it when talking about dreams, hopes, loved ones, or things they miss deeply. When you use yearn, it shows a deep feeling in your heart, not just a simple desire. Let's compare the strength of these expressions. Not all words express the same level of desire. Some show a simple want, while others express a much stronger feeling. One way to think about them is like this: want, hope, wish, desire, crave, yearn. As we move from left to right, the feeling becomes stronger and more emotional. Examples: I want a vacation. This is a simple desire. I hope I can take a vacation. This means you want it to happen in the future. I wish I were on vacation. This means you are not on vacation now, but you would like that to be true. I desire a better lifestyle. This shows a strong goal or ambition. I'm craving a break. This expresses a very strong immediate desire. I yearn for a peaceful life. This expresses a deep emotional longing. The stronger the feeling, the stronger the word you choose. Now, let's learn one of the most useful expressions in English: I'd like. We use I'd like when asking for something politely. It sounds more friendly and respectful than saying I want. Structure: I'd like plus a noun, or I'd like plus to plus a verb. Examples: I'd like a coffee, please. I'd like a ticket to London. You'll often hear I'd like in restaurants, shops, hotels, airports, and many other everyday situations. Let's compare I'd like and I want. I'd like a coffee, please. I want a coffee. I'd like some help, please. I want help. Both sentences communicate the same idea, but they sound very different. I'd like sounds polite, friendly, and respectful. I want is more direct and can sometimes sound demanding, especially when speaking to strangers, customers, waiters, or service staff. When asking for something, it's always a good idea to begin politely. A simple greeting can make your conversation sound more friendly and respectful. Let's look at some examples. Good morning. I'd like a ticket, please. Good afternoon. I'd like some information. Starting with greetings helps create a positive first impression. This is especially useful when speaking to customer service staff, shop assistants, hotel employees, or anyone you don't know well. Adding please to your request makes it sound more friendly and respectful. Let's look at some examples. Can you help me, please? Could you open the door, please? In everyday conversations, native speakers use please very often when asking for help, requesting information, or ordering something. Polite English is not just about saying please. We also use thank you and excuse me. Thank you shows appreciation when someone helps you. Excuse me is used before speaking to a stranger or asking a question. Examples: thank you for your help. Excuse me, where is the station? Remember please when asking, excuse me when starting a conversation, and thank you when someone helps you. These simple expressions make your English sound polite and friendly. Let's look at the grammar pattern for I'd like. There are two common ways to use it. Structure 1. I'd like plus noun. Use this pattern when you want a thing or an object. Examples: I'd like a ticket. I'd like a coffee. Structure 2. I'd like plus to plus verb. Use this pattern when you want to do an action. Examples: I'd like to buy a ticket. I'd like to book a room. Remember, I'd like plus noun for things. I'd like plus to plus verb for actions. In English, we often use contractions to make sentences shorter. A contraction is a shortened form of two words. For example, I would like becomes I'd like. You would like becomes you'd like. He would like becomes he'd like. She would like becomes she'd like. We would like becomes we'd like. They would like becomes they'd like. Both forms have the same meaning. I would like a coffee and I'd like a coffee mean exactly the same thing. The only difference is that I'd like is the shortened form. Let's learn how to ask questions using would like. We use would like to politely offer something or invite someone to do something. Structure: would plus subject plus noun, or would plus subject plus like to plus verb. Examples: would you like some coffee? Would you like some cake? These questions are common when offering food, drinks, help, or invitations. Remember, would you like is a polite way to ask someone what they want or to offer something. After asking would you like, there are different ways to respond. Positive responses. If you accept the offer or invitation, you can say, yes, I would. Yes, please. I'd love to. Certainly. Negative responses. If you want to refuse politely, you can say, no, I wouldn't. No, thank you. Maybe later. Not right now, thanks. I wouldn't like that. She wouldn't like that idea. They wouldn't like to wait. Remember, when saying no, try to be polite. Instead of simply saying no, expressions like no thank you or maybe later sound much friendlier and more natural. Now, let's talk about preferences. A preference is something you like more than something else. In other words, when you choose one thing over another, you are showing a preference. Examples: I prefer tea to coffee. I prefer reading books. I'd rather stay home. In each example, the speaker is choosing one option over another. English has several ways to express preferences, and the most common ones are prefer, and would rather. Let's learn how to use each of them correctly. Let's start with prefer. We use prefer to talk about our general likes and choices. Structure: prefer plus noun, prefer plus verb plus ing, prefer plus to plus verb. Examples: I prefer tea, I prefer reading books, I prefer to travel by train. These are general preferences, not choices for a specific situation. For example, if you usually like tea more than coffee, you can say, I prefer tea. If you generally enjoy reading, you can say, I prefer reading books. Remember, prefer is used to talk about things you generally like or choose most of the time. When comparing two things, use prefer A to B. Examples: I prefer tea to coffee. I prefer summer to winter. When comparing activities, use prefer verbing to verbing. Examples: I prefer reading to watching TV. I prefer walking to driving. Remember, prefer A to B for things. Prefer verbing to verbing for activities. Now let's learn would prefer. We use would prefer for a specific situation or choice right now. Examples: I'd prefer tea today. I'd prefer a window seat. I'd prefer to leave early. Remember, prefer equals general preference. Would prefer equals specific situation or choice now. Now, let's learn would rather. We use would rather to talk about what we would choose or prefer in a particular situation. It is often used when there are two or more options, and we choose one of them. For example, if your friends want to go shopping, but you want to relax at home, you can say, I'd rather stay home. If someone asks whether you want to watch TV or a movie, you can say, I'd rather watch a movie. Quick tip: would prefer and would rather have similar meanings. I'd prefer to stay home. I'd rather stay home. Both are correct and express a preference for a specific situation. We can also ask questions about preferences. Let's look at 3 common patterns. Using prefer. Use do you prefer to ask about someone's general preference. Do you prefer tea or coffee? Using would prefer. Use would you prefer to ask about a specific choice or situation. Would you prefer tea or coffee? Using would rather. Use would you rather when choosing between options. Would you rather stay home? These questions are very common in everyday English conversations. Let's look at some common mistakes learners make with prefer, and would rather. I prefer reading books is correct. I prefer read books is incorrect. After prefer, we use verb plus ing. I'd prefer to stay home is correct. I'd prefer stay home is incorrect. After would prefer, we use to plus verb. I'd rather stay home is correct. I'd rather to stay home is incorrect. After would rather, we use the base form of the verb without to. Remember these patterns, and you'll be able to use prefer, and would rather correctly and naturally. Now, let's practice with some real-life conversations. Conversation 1. At a cafe. The customer says, "I'd like a cappuccino, please." The barista replies, "Certainly. Would you like anything else?" The customer says, "Yes, I'd like a chocolate muffin." The barista replies, "No problem." Conversation 2. At a restaurant. The waiter asks, "What would you like to order?" The customer replies, "I'd like the grilled chicken, please." The waiter says, "Excellent choice." The customer replies, "Thank you." Notice how the customer uses "I'd like" to make a polite request. At a bookstore. The customer says, "I'd like to buy a novel." The shop assistant asks, "What kind of novel are you looking for?" The customer replies, "I'd like a mystery novel." The shop assistant says, "I can help you with that." Notice that "I'd like to buy" is used for an action, while "I'd like a mystery novel" is used for a thing. At the airport, the traveler says, "I'd like a window seat, please." The airport staff replies, "Certainly." The traveler says, "Thank you." The airport staff replies, "You're welcome." Now, let's learn how to use would you like. In this conversation, a host is offering food to a guest using would you like. Host, would you like some cake? Guest, yes please. Host, here you are. Guest, thank you. Next, offering help. In this situation, a teacher is offering help to a student. Notice how the teacher uses would you like to offer assistance politely. Teacher, would you like some help with that exercise? Student, yes I would. Teacher, let's do it together. Let's look at making an invitation. In this conversation, Emma invites Sarah to join her for dinner. Notice how Emma uses would you like to make a polite invitation. Emma, would you like to join us for dinner? Sarah, I'd love to. Emma, great. Thank you for inviting me. Would you like is commonly used when inviting someone to an event, meal, or activity. Now, let's learn how to use prefer. We use prefer to talk about our general likes and preferences. In this conversation, Emma asks Sarah about her preferred drink. Emma, do you prefer tea or coffee? Sarah, I prefer coffee. Emma, why? Sarah, because it helps me stay awake. Next, in this conversation, Alex asks Lily about her preferred way of traveling. Alex, do you prefer traveling by train or by plane? Lily, I prefer traveling by train. Alex, why? It's more comfortable. Prefer is commonly used to compare two things and talk about what you generally like more. Now, let's learn how to use would prefer. In this conversation, the airport staff asks the traveler about a seating preference. Airport staff, would you prefer a window seat or an aisle seat? Traveler, I'd prefer a window seat. Airport staff, certainly. Traveler, thank you. In this conversation, a manager asks an employee about a work preference for tomorrow. Manager, would you prefer to work from home tomorrow? Employee, yes, I'd prefer to work from home. Manager, that's fine. Would prefer is commonly used when choosing between options in a specific situation. Let's learn how to use would rather. In this conversation, Ryan asks Mia which type of movie she would choose. Ryan, would you rather watch a comedy or an action movie? Mia, I'd rather watch a comedy. Ryan, me too. Mia, let's watch one tonight. Next in this conversation, Lucas asks Olivia about her preferred way to travel. Lucas, would you rather drive or take the train? Olivia, I'd rather take the train. Lucas, why? Olivia, it's less stressful. Would rather is commonly used when choosing one option over another in a specific situation. Now, let's learn how to use hope. In this conversation, James asks Emily about her future goals. James, what do you hope to do in the future? Emily, I hope to start my own business. James, that's exciting. Emily, it's my dream. Next, let's look at another example. In this conversation, Emma asks Lucas about his goals for this year. Emma, what do you hope to achieve this year? Lucas, I hope to get a promotion. Emma, good luck. Lucas, thank you. Hope is commonly used when talking about future plans, goals, dreams, and things you want to happen. Now, let's learn how to use wish. In this conversation, Olivia asks Michael about a place he would like to visit. Olivia, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go? Michael, I wish I could visit Switzerland. Olivia, why Switzerland? Michael, because I love mountains. Next, let's look at another example. In this conversation, Emma talks to Noah about his busy schedule. Emma, you seem busy these days. Noah, yes, I am. How do you feel about it? Noah, I wish I had more free time. Wish is commonly used to talk about things that are not true now or situations we would like to be different. Now, let's learn how to use crave. In this conversation, Emma notices that Noah looks hungry. Emma, you look hungry. Noah, I am. I'm craving pizza. Emma, let's order one. Noah, great idea. Next, let's look at another example. In this conversation, Sophia offers Daniel some tea. Would you like some tea? Daniel, actually, I'm craving coffee. Sophia, let's go to the cafe. Daniel, sounds good. Crave is commonly used when we strongly want something. Now, let's learn how to use desire. In this conversation, Sophia asks Daniel about his future career plans. Sophia, why are you studying so hard? Daniel, I have a strong desire to become a doctor. Sophia, that's wonderful. Daniel, thank you. Next, let's look at another example. In this conversation, a manager asks an employee about career goals. Manager, what do you desire for your career? Employee, I desire growth and new opportunities. Manager, that's a great goal. Employee, thank you. Desire is commonly used to express a strong wish or ambition. It is more formal than want, and is often used when talking about goals, success, and personal growth. Now, let's learn how to use yearn. In this conversation, David talks to Lucas about missing his family. David, how are you feeling? Lucas, I miss my family. David, are you homesick? Lucas, yes, I'm yearning to see them again. Next, let's look at another example. In this conversation, Olivia asks James about his biggest life goal. Olivia, what do you yearn for most in life? James, I yearn for peace and happiness. Olivia, that's a wonderful goal. James, I think so too. Yearn is commonly used to express a deep and emotional longing for someone or something. It is stronger than want and often describes heartfelt wishes or dreams. Today, we learned different ways to express wants, wishes, and preferences in English. We learned how to use want, hope, wish, desire, crave, yearn, I'd like, prefer, and would rather naturally and correctly. We also practiced making polite requests, accepting and declining offers, and talking about preferences in everyday situations. Keep practicing these expressions in your daily conversations to speak English more naturally, politely, and confidently. Great job today. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Learning English is easy, fun, and exciting with Easy English Boost.